Ladies, we are halfway through 2021 already. Can you believe it? I can't. But are you on track for your goals? Are you going to hit them by the end of the year? Or do you need to pivot a little bit, reevaluate, maybe go in another direction? No matter where you are, this episode is just for you. I'm super excited, so let's get real. Can I just say, you're a rare find. Running a brick and mortar business, raising some kiddos, and juggling all of life's offerings. Let's just be real and call you what you are. You're a rebel woman. You've put your blood, sweat, and tears in creating a storefront that lights you up, serves your clients well, and contributes significantly to the community you love. You are my hero, and I'm pretty sure we could sit down and talk shop for hours, because I get it. Hey there, I'm Melissa Rose, and I'm your visibility coach for brick and mortar businesses who want more clients coming into their doors. I have a passion for helping and serving those who are also living life on the edge, going for their dreams, and creating a legacy through their kick-ass business. In this podcast, we're going to share the nitty-gritty of running a successful brick and mortar. We're going to share stories, talk strategy, and learn practical tips that leave you inspired, empowered, and equipped to create the life of your dreams. So let's get real.
And now, your host, Ms. Melissa Rose, who's such a rebel woman that she wants everything for her life, everything for her business, everything for her family. She even eats everything bagels for breakfast in the morning.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Brick and Mortar Visibility. Be the only option in town. I am super excited to have you because we are halfway through the year already. And you guys, I didn't even realize it. I just recorded a podcast episode. I'm batching my work today. And I had another one slated for today. And I was like, no, wait, we have to talk about halfway through the year because this is a big deal. I literally was sitting on my front porch this morning and I go, oh my gosh, I get to take out my profits for my second quarter. I get to transfer my profits and go do something fun with them, which I'm going to use for a family vacation. So it kind of snuck up on me. I didn't even realize it. And I want to acknowledge it because it's always good quarterly to look at where we're going, right? But do you know where you're going? Most of us have an idea of what we want to do for our goals this year, but are you tracking it? That is my favorite word, I think. Well, I have a lot of favorite words, but it's one of them. But before we dive into today's podcast episode and the nitty-gritty of that, I just formally want to introduce myself. We have a lot of new listeners, and I always want to make sure everybody feels welcome. That's very important to me. So thank you for choosing to put me in your ears. And if you're brand new, welcome. My name's Melissa Rose, and I also am a brick and mortar business owner. I have a dance studio of 12 years. We have 2 locations, and I have a staff of 14 that I manage and love dearly. I also am a mama. I have 5 kiddos, 17 down to 8, and we are in the thick of it with senior year upon us here, and it's very exciting and all the feels. So just a special time right now in our household. And then I coach brick and mortar business owners. I help them be the only option in town because that is just an awesome place to be. When people know you, refer you, love you, trust you, and send people to you, it is just an awesome feeling. So I want that for my brick and mortar business owners. Okay, so today's episode is all about setting yourself up for success this next season. Okay, so the second half of the year. Many of us have our goals, right? You put your goals out. I have mine on my wall and I look at them all the time. So I want to invite you, if you have not gotten my tracking sheet, this is what I have hanging on my wall. I have my big sheet with my goals, but then I have my tracking sheet and I have 12 copies on my wall. Okay, I know it's a little old school, but there's a reason for this. So you can grab yours at msmelissarose.com/tracking sheet and print it out and make it yours. You might track some things differently than I do. Totally fine. But what we pay attention to, y'all, grows. And I am a huge believer in that because this morning I was able to look at my big goals for the year. And I think I checked off 5 of them today. Because I was like, oh, that's already done. Huh, that's already done. That's already done. Which is good. But now I say, okay, let's up the ante. That was my goal, but now let's up it. And that's a really fun place to be too. So grab your tracking sheet. And I'm going to just explain for those of you that are new or haven't heard of this from me. I have a tracking sheet that lists all areas of my life because success is not just business, right? It's personal, it's financial, it's family, it's giving, it's friends, it's all the things, right? So my success is not just my business. However, my business allows me to be successful in other areas of my life because if I don't have the money coming in, I can't take that girls' trip. Or if I don't have the time, I can't spend it with my kids. So my business is that umbrella to allow me to be successful in other areas of my life. So that is why my tracking sheets, when you print them out, have different areas of my life that I feel are important to me to track. Now, I also have different softwares for my business. I have QuickBooks. I have my Dance Studio Pro for the studio. I have my Simplero for coaching. So those are all my different platforms that I use. And yes, I could go into them and look each day, but every month I just dump the information that's important to me that I'm tracking and I put it on that sheet of paper that I see every day. Because then it's all right there and I don't have to go digging in each different platform, okay? Because we track so many things. Google reviews, we track Facebook stuff, we track students and their monies, all different things. They're all coming from different places, right? So you could spend an hour just trying to look all the time. So I look in all those places at the top of the month and record what happened the previous month so that I can see where we're heading. So that is why I have these tracking sheets. I know it's old school, but it's black and white and it's right in front of me and I see all the important information, okay? Now, that doesn't mean I don't look at my numbers daily in those places, but I don't always look at my Facebook group number, okay? So I track that and I look at that monthly, but I do check my QuickBooks daily. So there's different things that I do check daily, but I'm going off a tangent, but I'm just letting you know. Okay, enough of that. Okay, so what's working? When we are tracking, we are able to see what's working. We are also seeing what's not working or stagnant. That is good to know. Now, one key element in looking at those numbers is, have you given yourself enough time? And that's why I like to look at things monthly, because in our Instapot, Instagram, Insta world here, we want everything right away. And it takes a while for things to catch up, for people to see, for people to know what we do. All right. So I like to give myself 6 to 12 weeks to test something to see if it's working. And by tracking it monthly, that's how I can know. When I look at my numbers and I see something that's working, I am going to dial in on that a little bit more. What do I mean by that? Can I niche down a little bit more? Can I narrow in my audience? For example, we do a lot of master classes at our studio. We've started this probably in January, doing master classes. And it's a way to get people in the studio that don't have to commit to a session or a season. All right. So it's a one-off class. And we've been doing them since January, so that's 6 months. Now, we don't do them every week. We may do one a month, and that's kind of how we started. And we saw some traction with one of the master classes that we offered. And it has been suggested and asked if we would offer that master class specifically more than once a month. Okay, so we've given it time. We saw some traction, and now I'm going to zone in on it or zero in on it and do it a bit more. I may also put some ad money behind that masterclass because I know it works, okay? Because I gave it time to test it out. All right. Then we have some things that aren't working or started out strong, but the momentum is kind of dissipating. And that same thing, maybe not do it. Or there might be things like, well, this is something that it's like a feel good for the studio. Now, is that feel good worth the time and money and energy to put behind it? Okay. Or is it a community builder that is, you don't see the dollars per se, but the community aspect is huge. All right. And we talked about that in a previous episode with Lindsay Robinson. She talked about community, and community is an important part of creating a stellar business too. Okay. So pay attention to that. And by tracking your numbers, you're going to be able to see that. And that's what I love about tracking. Tracking just makes it so non-emotional. Like, that's not working. Okay, done. And you don't have to get fuzzy about it. It's just right there. So then we get to focus on something. I don't know if you're like me, but you have so many things going on in your head, right? As business owners, we have our kids to think about, we have our partners to think about, we have our schedules to think about, we have our team to think about, we have all the things to think about, right? And even though we have a team, you might have a team or an assistant to help you, you still have those things in your head. And what are we going to focus on? A lot of us want more visibility and more clients coming in our doors. And there are so many ways to do that and so many avenues to do that. But I am going to ask that you focus on one or two things a quarter or month, and in a rare case, a week. So for me, with my brick and mortar, this summer season is all about visibility. We are ramping up visibility. How can we get in front of more eyes? Because fall is our big onboarding. So we want as many new people to know about us as possible in the summer month, because in the fall, people sign on for a season or a session and then they kind of stay. So this is our big visibility time. So we are highly focused on getting our brand out there. And that is a 3-month masterclass in getting out there. How many different ways in the community? Now, that just didn't start in June. We thought about that last quarter on how to get our brand out there. So that's why you have to be kind of ahead of the game to think about that. But there are things that I have focused on for a month. For example, last December, I had a goal to get speaking gigs for January. I wanted to get a certain number of speaking engagements for January. So in December, I just focused on connecting with people that could get me in front of a group. And by just focusing on that energy and that goal or that task for December, I was able to fill up January with a ton of speaking gigs. But then I stopped connecting, and now I don't have any speaking gigs now in July. But I focused on it for a month, and that was intentional. I'm just going to do it for a month, all right? So there are some things where you're like, you know what? I think I want to try this. And you just put your energy in that task for a certain amount of time and then try it and see how it works. You may realize, no, that wasn't the right way to do it, and then you can revisit. So that's why I like to put a timeline on things, all right? And by tracking it, you're doing that versus feeling like you did it, okay? Because let's be real, we think about what we do way more than what we actually do. Okay, so now I want to go back to where we are. It's the top of July here. We have 6 more months of the year. So where are you in your business? How are things? I pray that they are better than last year, right? I know my business it's a different business than last year, right? But now, what are you going to focus on? What do you need to do to hit those goals? Are you on track? Are you farther along? Like for me, there are some things that I'm like, I've already hit that. So, okay, now let's up the ante. But what am I going to do to achieve the higher goal? So that's why I just want you to just take a few minutes, not a few minutes, maybe a couple hours, and just look at your numbers, see where you're at, and what needs to be tweaked. Maybe something needs to be cut out. Maybe something needs to be put some gas on it, and let's do more of that because that seems to be working. And just read those black and white numbers to help you. So if you haven't, grab my tracking sheet, MsMelissaRose.com/tracking sheet. Make it your own. There's a copy that I have for you, and then I have a blank copy that you can just fill in and make it your own so that you can have your business be set up for success. I hope that's helpful today. I hope you are energized and ready to look and take action in your business so that your second half of the year is even better than the first half. My brick and mortar boss ladies, you are amazing. You are audacious. You are brave. You are bold. You are creating a storefront that lights you up to serve those you love so well in your community. You are thriving. You are resourceful. You are pivoting. You are doing all the things so well. And I'm so proud of you and so honored to have you listen to the podcast here. Thank you. And we'll see you same time, same place next week. Peace. Bye-bye. Oh my gosh, you're still listening. You are such a rebel woman and you have to be part of the tribe. So if you love this podcast, be sure to leave an honest rating and review on your favorite podcast app, and I'll be sure to shout you out on the next episode. Have a great day. Peace.